Thank you, Jay. So Jay talked about the environment in which this whole construct of IBM and Bharti, innovating together and working towards a common success came together. Now, that was a pretty radical thing from a telecom company to say, here, I'm going to take the heart of my business, which is IT, and hand it over to a strategic partner. At that time, it was also an extremely innovative move from the IT point of view. This was about the first time that it was truly a partnership where it was based on outcomes where both companies together tied their success to a common outcome. And essentially, since IBM's success was dependent on Bharti's success, the thought process was that both companies would put all their effort in making sure that Bharti's key parameter, which is revenue growth, would continue. And also was pretty significant in the fact that when it was put together about 3 years back, it was by far and away the largest deal which was there in the Indian industry and also in the regional sense. Jay talked about the fact that this was not traditional outsourcing. This was about business transformation. And the idea was that everything which Bharti was doing at that point in time needed to be scaled up, not for the requirements on that particular day or year or month, but essentially keeping in view the fact that the Indian telecom market was going to grow exponentially. So the concept of scale and the concept of providing stuff which was globally proven was most important. And what we put together jointly was a transformation program which essentially touched every aspect of the telecom business that Bharti was in, whether it was customer relationship management, whether it was billing, or it was IT to run a large corporation, which is things like email and things like help desk and financial systems and so on. So basically, all business processes and all IT which goes behind supporting those business processes was transformed and essentially primed for the large growth which was going to come down the road. What we actually saw was that we were both very optimistic, IBM and Bharti, about the growth in the Indian market, whereas what we actually experienced in the past 3 years has surpassed even our wildest dreams at the time when we put together this construct. Jay talked about the fact that Bharti has grown from when we put this together somewhere about 5 or 6 million subscribers in 3 years to more than 30 million subscribers. It's reached a stage today where more than 1.5 million subscribers are added every month. In every quarter, we adding capacity of subscribers, what it took about 8 years of a lifespan to add initially. So the growth has truly been exponential. The other fact which is very significant is that while this growth has been coming, there's been innovative new services which have been brought in, a key example being the lifetime prepaid, which essentially changed the very nature of the business of telecom in India. India is today the fastest growing telecom market in the world, bar none. It's growing faster than China. In fact, Bharti and IBM ensured that the entire length and breadth of the Indian diverse geography is now covered through the telecom services which Bharti offers. And the fact that both the might of IBM and Bharti was focused on revenue growth through innovative services has ensured that the success is joint. And in fact, it's some of you who follow the results of Bharti Airtel would have noticed that while a lot of services have been provided to these exploding number of subscribers at very, very competitive rates, it's still very, very interesting that the profit margins are pretty healthy, EBITDA at greater than 40%. And that speaks volumes about the success which Bharti has seen in the market. To support all this astronomical growth, of course, there's a lot of IT which is going behind it, whether it's servers, whether it's software, whether it's projects or people, or for that matter, data centers or bandwidth. All of that has just exploded through the roof over the past 3 years. And the interesting thing is, what we've been seeing is that this rate and pace of growth is only accelerating. The interesting thing is the fact that this whole interesting model which has been put together between IBM and Bharti is not only unique in the Indian context. What we found is that it is it's something which is getting the interest of the top corporations across the world. In fact, some of the leading academic institutes like the Harvard have written 2 case studies about it. One was at the time when the whole construct was put together, and then another one at a later point in time to figure out how the whole relationship is going. And in terms of references, we've had the good fortune of referencing this to some of the topmost telcos and the topmost corporations across the world. In fact, MIS Asia recognized this particular partnership between Bharti and IBM twice over, once in 2005 for the best change management to ensure that this whole construct which was put together as part of the deal had actually come to fruition. So the change management of that was recognized in 2005. And in fact, in 2006, it was further endorsed by 2 other accolades. One was in the area of best knowledge management, and the second one in terms of the best contribution which IT can make to a business. So we've seen, endorsement of this model from academia and from some of the topmost corporations across the world. With that, Jay, back to you.
Thank you, Ashish. And we simply want to conclude by stating that with this, what Bharti Airtel, together with IBM, has been able to accomplish are, first of all, we've been able to align IT and business completely. We've made IT an OPEX spend. It's an utility model. It's an on-demand model. In other words, we do not worry anymore about capital expenditures and operational expenditures. We do not worry about in-year investments in large software or application services. At the end of the day, the cost of IT is a percentage of revenue. And that percentage continues to decline as the revenue keeps going up. So there's an automatic economy of scale that's built into it. We've been able to, therefore, focus on the value that information technology can bring to the business rather than worry about how do you build information technology platforms. This kind of innovation truly has allowed us to stitch the various businesses together, our broadband business, our mobile business, our enterprise business, carrier business, etc. We've been able to also really bring together an absolutely talented pool of people together, which is something that we ourselves as a telecommunications providing company would have had a challenge. We've been able to bring together a very strong partner ecosystem behind IBM. There are approximately 50 to 60 different technology providers behind IBM, all of us working in synchronization, in harmony, without any finger pointing and ensuring that there's complete end-to-end accountability. Best of all, we've been able to focus on what we do best, and IBM is able to focus on what they do best. And when you bring both of these teams together, the complementarity of the competence really results in the right kind of innovation sparks rather than the wrong kinds of sparks when it comes to a provider-vendor relationship. So I would just summarize and simply state it's been an absolutely fascinating journey. The idea germinated around 2002 with the notion of an ITI community of practice. That ITI community of practice is alive, well and kicking. It's now been executing for about 3 years. We're on a long journey together. We believe that this will fundamentally transform the telecommunications business model, which is we no longer look at ARPUs. We start looking at cost of producing a minute and the realized revenue per minute. And this predictability and the variable model that we put into place allows us to deliver a fundamentally superior customer experience and B, the appropriate results into the marketplace. With that, I thank you very much.